Hey, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm Rick Plaskett, a certified business and leadership coach here in Columbus, Ohio. Today, my guest is Curran Hennessey. He is the owner of Staff Now, a staffing agency focusing in on long-term temporary staff. Today, as we talk, we're going to learn a little bit more about his business challenges, some of his best practices, and he's got some really good best practices that I think you're all going to enjoy, and share a little peek into what's really behind the curtain of building and operating a business today. If this is your first time on the channel, please hit the like and the subscribe button so that you can get notifications on our future conversations. So, Curran, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Hello, Rick. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
Hey, I really appreciate you coming on board and sharing your wisdoms from your experience. If you would, could you give us just a little bit of a background of who you are, how long you've been running the company, and in your own words, what does Staff Now do?
We started Staff Now about 5 years ago, and we've had operations now active for a little over 4 years. And what we do is that we're a temp staffing agency. So we supply employees for companies that typically have a need for a lot of seasonal employees or long-term temporary labor where they require high volume staffing management. So that's what we've been doing, and we've been growing a little bit over these last few years. And we're really excited about what the future holds for our customers and our business.
Kieran, I got to call you on this because you're saying you're growing a little bit, but that's not what you shared with me the last time we spoke. Could you quantify that little bit? I think the audience is going to like that.
We grew 65% in 2024. We just got the numbers back. So it was a lot that we grew.
Yeah, I don't know, audience, how many of you would like to grow a little bit? That's 65%, but that's pretty phenomenal. Congratulations on that. Hey, tell us, in those 4 years, I'm sure you've grown and changed what you do, but could you share a little bit about what the role is that you're currently playing in the business?
My current role is a manager of the business and executive, and so I do a lot of the client management, client service. I do a little bit of sales. I'm also involved in managing the day-to-day operations of the recruiters and the recruitment team, and also managing the employees, because not only do we recruit and hire employees, but we see them throughout the employment process. And so sometimes we help to manage their attendance. We certainly manage their pay and many different aspects of the employment process.
Awesome. Thank you. A lot of that sounds like it's the day-to-day operations of the business. When you look at running the entire company Staff Now, how would you break down percentage-wise the amount of time that you spend working in the business, what you just shared with us, and some of that strategic and planning type of thinking of working on the business for its future?
You know, Rick, roughly 50-50, because in the last few months, I've hired an additional recruiter, an administrative assistant. And so now I'm transitioning less from answering the phone and dealing with employees to more big picture kind of stuff and planning and preparing for this new year. And so I think the role of any president of any company is to try to work on the business rather than in the business. So that's one thing I'm working on trying to move towards.
Okay, super, super, super. I know that you've got lots of competition in just the Columbus area here. What makes Staff Now unique?
One of our differentiators is the seriousness and the responsibility of our employees. We have hired employees that have had really good attendance, that are very committed to the job, and that differentiates us from some of the competition, because what our customers tell us is that some of their biggest pain points in staffing are turnover and attendance. And that's been a differentiator. As an example, one of our first clients went from using 7 temp agencies to just one because of the quality of the personnel that we supplied.
Wow, that's awesome. So you were the last man standing and carrying the entire load for this customer then, yes?
That's right.
Awesome, man. So when you take those types of experiences, those types of successes, what's your vision for the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, we've just been working on our vision in these last few months of a growth plan for the next 5 years, and we're working to grow 40% per year for the next 5 years, which would take us from 100 employees that we have right now to 500 some employees by 2030.
Wow. Wow. And so when you're looking at that all the way out to 2030, what's your approach to setting goals or maybe milestones in between today and 2030?
Well, we've tried to make some financial projections by looking at our current income, our current revenue, our current expenses, and to project what's going to be necessary to support that growth and what kind of income we can generate based on that growth. So our planning for that is largely from an accounting standpoint, but then it's also from a sales standpoint because we know that we're going to need sales and marketing to be able to continue to add new major warehouse clients that need our services.
Wow. Wow. So thinking of that future and looking at, clearly an ingredient of that future is building a great team. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Super. So how would you say your vision of what your leadership style is today, and what's it going to need to be leading a company that, by your projections, is going to be 250% as large as it is today, 5 years from now? How would you describe your leadership today, and what's your vision for the future? I guess is a simple way of that long, complex question.
Yeah, I think that it's going to require great people. It's always in the people. And so it's going to require a really good team, a good sales team, a good operational team for delivering on our promises to our customers, and to instill the values and throughout our company that we have now and make sure that we maintain them as we grow. Values like integrity, humility, responsibility, honesty, and keeping our word.
So, in developing those values, typically that's a leadership role. Do you have junior leaders right now that you're developing on the team?
Yes and no. We're still a small company, we're a young company, and a lot of our employees are on assignment to customers. So we don't necessarily see them every day of the week. But we do think a lot about how to develop leadership, particularly as we go hiring more managers in the company, more sales managers, more recruiting managers. We want to make sure that we continue to instill those values and that as a company we don't lose our identity as we grow bigger because everybody looks to the examples of companies that grow too quickly and then there's a lot of problems. So we want to make sure that we have responsible growth.
Curran, you and I talked the last time, and I know the audience, if you've watched any of my other videos, know my background. I graduated from West Point, great leadership institution, and I take a lot of those military leadership teachings, put them through a thesaurus, and help my clients with that in understanding what's required of a manager, what's required of a leader. And many times when we're looking at that, it's simply to understand, what do our people need? And it's not a prediction. Nobody's crystal ball, magic 8 ball really tells the truth dependably. But if we can look at what's the next step that we need, just the next step, to get to the top of the Empire State Building, when the elevator is out, we got to go one step at a time. So understanding, I want to get to the top, what's the next step with my leadership team? And you always being a month, 2 months ahead of the rest of your team, makes that journey so much easier. So, with that and setting that up, I'd ask you, what would you, if you had a magic wand, what would be the training focus that you'd want for your team, say in the next 6 months?
The training focus that I want for my team is to be on the ground, working in the staffing agency, and really seeing what are the drivers of success. And that means the team accompanying me when we go out and visit the client warehouses. It means being back here in the office when we get a large order for personnel and seeing how we can efficiently and systematically dispatch personnel for our customers' requirements. It might be being here on a day when there's a reduction in personnel and seeing how we handle that with people, because these are people's livelihoods. We're providing employment for people, and we want to have those conversations in a way that's very dignified and respectful. And we also want to retain great employees. So if a customer lays off an employee, we would like to try to send that employee to another opportunity as soon as possible, because we value our human resources, our employees. And so our team, by being here on the day to day and seeing all that kind of stuff, they learn how to resolve problems. And when you're dealing with people, which is our business, we're in the business of people. There's always all kinds of problems because people have family emergencies, people have a lot of different things. And so different situations present themselves on any given day, and it's how to respond to those situations in a compassionate way, thinking coldly about the situation, thinking about the needs of the customer, the needs of our business, and the needs of the employee themselves, and to resolve those kind of problems.
Wow, Curran, thank you first of all for sharing that with us. And as I was listening, you hit on all of the key ingredients and some of the magic, the superpowers, if you will, that I'm hearing from you as a business leader and your company is actually around emotional intelligence, understanding how people feel, because while it's real easy for Tom Hanks to say there's no crying in baseball, in every single day in every single business, emotions do play in, and you can't have facts and figures and processes without understanding how emotions play into that. And everything that you just shared is being put into place and exercised by you with that specific purpose in mind of how do we care for people's needs, whether it's the fact or their emotional stance as it is today. So that is just fabulous. And I really applaud you on that. I would question, are you recording that, or is that something that is between your two ears and you're going to have to be the one to instill the values, the beliefs, and the culture with every new hire that you have come in?
Well, thank you, first of all, so much for recognizing that. And we do see that as a very important function of what we do as a staffing company from the emotional intelligence standpoint. As far as
Awesome.
the team, that is a part of what we think about and do on a day-to-day basis. And as we're a Christian company, and that ethic guides how we approach those situations, because there are emotions involved on all sides, from us as managers of a business, from our clients as managers of their businesses, and from our employees as people who are working to earn a living. And so we have to try to find outcomes that are appropriate within a business human resources standpoint, but also from the rights and privileges of an employee, and balancing all of those different aspects in a way that avoids conflicts, and also that keeps operations running smoothly for everybody.
Wow, that is a very, very complex day, and every single day the weather changes it. Colds and flus and family events all impact your business, and you just never know where it's coming from. So you've got to be flexible and understand how to sway with all of those influences and still achieve your mission.
Just the other week here in Columbus, Ohio, we had a major snowstorm, and Franklin County declared a level 3, well, a level 2 snow emergency. And then the next door, Pickaway County, where a lot of our clients are located, were at a level 3. And so our employees that were coming from Columbus and driving 20, 30 minutes over to Pickaway County, a lot of them weren't able to make it to work. And so those are things that come up on any given day for sure.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's not fun. And yet we don't have any control over that. And you just have to roll with those events as they go. Well, listen, we've certainly covered an awful lot of ground today in our conversation. And for those of you that are watching, I highly encourage you to save this interview. Curran has had a number of just really great golden nuggets here for you to come back and take a look at again. So as we begin to wrap this up, I want to hit a section that I like to refer to as the rapid fire questions. I've got 3 or 4 different questions here. All I want is top of your mind. You ready for these, Curran?
I'm ready.
Super. What would you say the key to success is?
Faith.
Awesome. What's one piece of advice that you would give to other business owners like yourself?
Don't give up. If you fail the first time, keep going, be determined because you learn from your mistakes and things get easier over time. And especially if you have faith.
Awesome. Absolutely. What's one book that you're reading right now or you've read most recently that you feel is really motivational?
I read a business book recently called what was it called? I'll have to look up the title, Rick. I can't remember, but it was talking about people's different work styles. In fact, that's the title, Work Styles. And it talks about some people are drivers, some people are more intuitive, and there's different work styles. Some people are more analytical. And so when as a leader, sometimes you have to adapt your own style so that you can communicate with people who have other styles, and it's recognizing that in them as you get to know them and then trying to get along with them based on that. It was a good book. I
Awesome. Yeah.
recommend it.
Great. Well, I'm glad you remembered it. If there was one area of your business that we could use a magic wand and improve it overnight so that tomorrow morning you wake up and that problem area is no longer a problem area, what would that be?
By far and away, sales and marketing, because I have so many good applicants coming into our office every single day to apply for jobs, and I don't have anywhere to send those personnel. And I got an order for personnel the other day for 30 people the next day, and we were able to deliver him 30 people to that client. And so we're in a position to really deliver, but we don't have enough clients.
Wow. Wow. So before I get to the last question, that leads me to ask you, if that new client of yours is actually watching our interview today, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Give our office a call at 614-259-7959 or visit our website and send us an email, staffnowohio.com. And we have the capability to help all throughout Ohio and in the surrounding states. We'll go where the opportunities are, and we're here at your service.
Great. Thank you so much. Man, that just flowed right out of you. I can see that you've practiced that. That's great. So here's the last question for you. Curran, what do you find most inspiring to you today?
Most inspiring for me is my faith in God, my faith in Jesus, because that's what helped me to help me to persevere as I've grown my business and to focus on today because nobody knows what tomorrow is going to bring. So trying to just stay focused on the present.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Curran, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your journey. And thank you to the audience who has joined us as well, watching this. And wherever you are, whether you're watching or listening, I hope that you were able to take a couple of really good pieces of information from Curran's interview today. Folks, make it a great day and bye for now.